and what is a tragedy. And when we take the name of tragedy, we always refer to uh, Shakespeare, Marlowe, Thomas Kyd, Seneca, all these great tragedies of English literature. And today we will read Hamlet, which is one of the four classic tragedies of Shakespeare. What are the other three tragedies? What are the other three tragic plays of Shakespeare? This is Hamlet. What else?
Othello.
Julius
Othello.
Caesar.
No Julius Caesar, beta. Othello, Macbeth, King Lear, and Hamlet. Today are doing Hamlet. Apart from Hamlet, there are other three, and they are Othello, Macbeth, and King Lear. When we go to study tragedy, we have in mind that the protagonist suffers. When the protagonist suffers and meets the tragic end, it is a successful tragedy. I told you in my previous class. Hamlet here is the protagonist, and Hamlet is a scholar in the University of Wittenberg, and his father is old King Hamlet, who is ruling Denmark. But Hamlet gets a message. Those who have yesterday was Midsummer Night's Dream class. That will be adjusted on Sunday. Anybody questioning about Midsummer Night's Dream? That will be done on Sunday. Today this class is meant
Okay,
for
ma'am.
Hamlet. Okay. And your coordinator sir will let you know about the time on Sunday. Because I am not well, so he told me to drop the class yesterday and that will be adjusted on Sunday. Hamlet is such a play where we discover the heinous crime that takes place inside the house of Hamlet. And what is the crime? Who can tell me, those who have read Hamlet?
Murder.
His, the
Yes,
murder of his father, who was
murder of his
Murder.
father. Yes. And how Hamlet comes to know about this? Hamlet has got the information that his father is dead. But when he comes, he finds that the dinner is being served for the mother of his, not ghost. The dinner is served for the mother of his, of Hamlet, for the marriage of Hamlet's mother. Marriage with whom?
The
With,
killer.
with Claudius, who is the brother of King Hamlet. So here it is a regicide, but it is a crime which takes place inside the court or inside the castle. And own brother kills the king and marries his widow. That is the tragic story of Hamlet. And from that day onwards, when Hamlet comes back, the ghost appears. The ghost doesn't show himself to Hamlet first. He shows it to Laertes, who is one of the friend of Hamlet. And the ghost tells the story that he was killed by the poisoning of ear. And Hamlet becomes very angry, very much shocked, and he feels that this is the reason for which I am invited. This is the reason for which I am called from Wittenberg. I came to know that my father is dead, but the reason behind the death of my father is this. And that has shocked Hamlet. And Hamlet tries to control himself by intriguing different people regarding the murder of his father. So when we go to the storyline of Hamlet, we will see that it is typically written as a classic tragedy. The hero is very great, belongs to royal background, extraordinarily brilliant. He is a scholar. But when he comes back, but when he comes back, he finds that his mother has lost her integrity. and she had opted to marry Claudius, who is the Hamlet doesn't know who is the murderer, but who informs Hamlet?
The ghost of his father, of his late father.
Yes, the ghost of his father, over the time or gradually, not suddenly, gradually he lets him know that he has been killed and the murderer is none but his brother. He doesn't give any such detail, but the ghost again and again appears and that disturbs the mind of Hamlet. And then Hamlet tries to maintain a profane madness. Actually, he is not mad, but he tries to maintain a profane madness, a duplicate madness, a hypocrisy madness. That everybody will see that he is mad, but but he is not. He is not. So this attitude or this type of countenance that Hamlet carries always terrifies everybody, almost all the other characters. Who are the main characters? Who are the other main characters? Who are the other main characters apart from Hamlet? Polonius, yes. Then most important is Ophelia. Then most important is who is most important?
Claudius.
Claudius. Polonius is the father of
Ophelia.
Ophelia. And Claudius is the uncle of
Um,
Hamlet.
Hamlet. So,
Hamlet.
yes. So there is inside the family there is incest. And incest is such a sin that cannot be excused. That if you believe that immediately lets you go to hell. And that happens with the mind of Claudius, that immediately after the death of the king, Claudius becomes the king and marries the mother of Hamlet, who is Gertrude. What is the name of the mother of Hamlet?
Gertrude.
Gertrude, whatever. So when Hamlet comes, he tries to meet his mother in a very secluded place or even isolated place where he wants to speak something to know as to why she had married his uncle after the death of his father. Till this time, till he meets his mother, he is not aware of the type of death that his father had suffered from. But then gradually he comes to know that it is a murder, it is not a death, and the murder is caused by whom? By Claudius. How?
When Hamlet's father, the King Hamlet, was resting in the garden, he was asleep, and his brother comes and pours poison into his ear.
Very good. That is the way in which this murder takes place. And after the death of murder, after the death of his father, Hamlet wants to discover the real murderer. In every moment, he is suffering from a shock that his mother has married the murderer of his father, which he can never excuse, which he can never imagine. But he is very sorry to see that it has become a fact and it has happened. And the reason behind this is his uncle Claudius. So, this being the storyline, he wants to take revenge. But unfortunately, if you remember the last scene, has anybody read the text? Has anybody read the complete text? Yes? Has anybody read the complete text?
Yes, ma'am.
What happens in the last scene? Or what happens towards the end?
All died, including Hamlet,
All died, including Hamlet. Understood?
Polonius, Claudius.
All died. Almost all important characters die, but Hamlet also dies. And that is the that is the tragedy. Hamlet also dies. So No poetic justice is given by Shakespeare to the hero who suffered throughout. You know, Hamlet is the greatest enigma, ambiguity of English literature. Till date, critics are writing on Hamlet. Till date, critics are trying to study the mind of Hamlet, but everybody has failed. Articles are being written, articles are being published, and so Hamlet is compared with the Mona Lisa painting. It is the greatest Mona Lisa of English literature. G. Wilson Knight, critics, please note down, critics like G. Wilson Knight, critics like G. Wilson Knight and Dover Wilson critics like G. Wilson Knight and Dover Wilson have interpreted the story or the plot of Hamlet in so many ways, but still but still he has been compared, or the play Hamlet is compared to compared with the Mona Lisa painting of Leonardo da Vinci. The Mona Lisa painting of Leonardo da Vinci, which till today remains ambiguous, mysterious. Which till today remains ambiguous or mysterious. Looking back to the stagecraft, next sentence. Looking back to the stagecraft and writing of the tragedy of Hamlet, we always find there is no poetic justice. There is no poetic justice. There is no poetic justice, and the hero is not rewarded at the end. Who is the hero?
Hamlet.
Hamlet.
Hamlet. Why he is not rewarded?
He
Why
has
is,
also committed the same crime.
what crime did he commit?
He is
Killing
dead.
What crime he had committed?
killing the murderer of his father, Claudius.
He was not his father. He was not his father. He was his stepfather. And he was his first enemy who had married his mother when he is an adult child. He has married his mother and killed his own father, old King Hamlet. And throughout the play, he suffers and suffers from mental shock. Though he is a prince, but he is unable to laugh, he is unable to adjust, he is unable to think better about the state, and he has no ambition to become the king. So these things has troubled the mind of Hamlet in such a way that it has become completely a turmoil. He is in a complete state of chaos, and he is not able to draw any conclusion as to how and why these things are happened. So, in order to make believe, in order to make, in order to get a make believe scene, the ghost is created by Shakespeare to appear and narrate the story of the father's death. So, the father's death is not ordinarily happened. It is not an accidental death. It is a thoroughly planned, cold-blooded murder. Did you get my point? Could you get my point or not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
It is
ma'am.
a thoroughly planned, cold blooded murder which has taken place for the purpose of remarriage of the murderer with Hamlet's mother. Nothing can be more sinful than this. Nothing can be more heinous than this. And that is why Hamlet is not able to trust anyone. Neither he believes his mother. There is no question of believing his uncle, but he is not having good impression on his mother because he knows. I'll come to that. He knows that his mother has married that fellow. And Shakespeare, in his wonderful art of creation, no, Hamlet doesn't take any mother on any revenge on his mother. That is like not killing, but he has continuously hurt her mentally. If you have read the lines, he has continuously hurt her mentally. And the mother is feeling, draws sympathy and says that I have no fault. And she has no words to explain. Because in Shakespeare's creation, write down, Shakespeare has made or now has failed to understand, write down, critics comment that Shakespeare has failed to understand the innocence of a child and the palpitating heart of a mother. He has failed to understand the innocence of a child and the palpitating heart of a mother. Don't write, now listen to me. In Shakespeare's creation of all 37 plays, he has never tried to give sufficient honor to the woman who is a mother. And the girls of the romantic heroines, they're very carefree. And only because of the absence of a mother. Because there is no proper motherhood in almost all the plays. So the girls or the romantic heroines of Shakespeare, they have become very carefree. And they are not even controlled by the mother, who is the right guide for a girl child. This is critics comment that this is a drawback in Shakespearean writing. Shakespeare is no doubt a genius, but he has failed to understand the innocence of a child and the palpitating heart of a mother. So here, the mother of Hamlet, Gertrude, is projected as a passive character. She has no reaction. We have never seen the character of Gertrude as Lady Macbeth or even Ophelia or even Desdemona. No, she has remained a passive character who is twisted by the words of Claudius. So directly or indirectly, you can say that Gertrude has no active interest in marrying Claudius. But as this is a matter within the court or within the castle, this happens. It is not only in that court, it is not only in that dynasty, it is not only in that kingdom, it is not only in that castle, but it happens in royal families. This happens, and what happens inside that nobody knows. No son goes there, no bird goes there to come and give information. It happens within the walls, within the four walls of the castle. So, what Gertrude wanted to do, what she had in her mind, whether she was ready to marry or not, all these questions could not come to the forefront because she had been subdued, and she is created in such a way that she would prove to be subservient to Claudius. Could you get my points? She is created weak. She is a frailty. Shakespeare says, frailty, thy name is woman. That means women are usually weak, gullible, and they are frail. So this sentence, frailty, thy name is woman. Who says this? Shakespeare says, see, he designs the woman in such a way that she cannot fight against the male force. She cannot fight against the male character. We never know why Hamlet, somebody is writing that Hamlet doesn't say anything to his mother. He never knows whether she is guilty or not. But he honors his mother because he has given him birth. She has given him birth. That is why. and she might have taken enough pain to get this child to the earth. That is his obligation. So he is partially victimizing his mother, not liking, accusing his mother, but he doesn't abuse her. But on the other hand, he is very angry on Claudius. Why? Why? Tell me.
Because
he married her
Claudius
mother.
is Hamlet.
He might have in his mind the idea that my mother might have been forced to marry this man because he was not there. He was absent. He had never seen that happened inside the castle. Understood? Thus, this was some honor, some hatred, some dislike, and some feeling which is very repulsive he had towards his mother, but he was not able to project it, and he never tried to show his hatred to his mother because he pities her. He simply pities her. Take the case of Ophelia. How Ophelia is connected to Hamlet? Who is Ophelia for Hamlet? Who?
His lover.
His beloved. And after getting this message of his father's death, do you think Hamlet loves Ophelia anymore? Have you seen any romantic scene throughout the play? Have you seen any sharing of thought throughout the play between Ophelia and Hamlet?
No.
All the while,
No.
Hamlet, yes, yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
No, he never honors the sentiment of Ophelia after knowing that his his father is killed by um, Claudius. Why? Because it is Polonius. It is Polonius, who is the father of Ophelia, is an ally to Claudius. So the murder was a trio. Though his mother was not a party, but she was a silent witness to all these events. Understood? So the dislike of Hamlet, write down, the dislike of Hamlet towards his mother and Ophelia, Ophelia, who is his beloved, is originated from the hatred he has nurtured in his mind, the hatred he has nurtured in his mind by knowing the murder of his father and the remarriage of his mother. Remarriage of his mother. He would have been more happy if he would have seen the widow of his father. But when he comes, he finds that his mother has become a mirthful lady who is happy with her new husband, and he hesitates to respect her as a mother. But what he can do? He simply cannot kill the mother. That is why he felt very bad. But internally, he couldn't excuse his mother, but externally, he was adjusting with his mother. This is a crucial mental crisis he was going through. And Hamlet was finding no way from this critical situation. And this continued almost throughout all the acts. And if you take up the character of Ophelia, how is Ophelia? What is the difference between character of Ophelia and character of Gertrude? How are they? How are they?
Both are weak characters. They are meek. They are weak.
They are very weak. They are never protesting. They don't have anything to say about good and bad, which is a very mandatory item in every tragedy. Any character would guide the protagonist to good or to bad, but both of them are silent. So Shakespeare has created gullible women in tragedies. It is not us. It is not Gertrude herself or Ophelia herself, but it is the design in the mind of Shakespeare that these ladies should be subservient to the men of this play. So he doesn't want that women should be emancipated. This was a very poor mindset of Shakespeare, where he has made almost all important ladies' character gullible. They don't have any voice. They don't have any reaction. They have to accept things as they are. That is the problem with the both the ladies' characters, Ophelia and Gertrude. Write down Ophelia. Storyline you remember of the play? Have you gone
Yes,
through?
ma'am.
Yes. Can anybody tell me the story in a nutshell? Within few minutes. Can anybody? Just tell me the broad outline.
King Claudius, he kills his brother King Hamlet
Yes.
and marries his wife Gertrude.
Hmm.
King Hamlet's son, the young Hamlet,
Hmm.
sees his father's ghost,
Hmm.
and the ghost speaks to him and tells him to take revenge. So
Hmm.
Hamlet is hellbound on taking revenge,
Hmm.
and finally he like tries to kill King Claudius,
Hmm.
but he is not able to. He procrastinates, but finally
Hmm.
he kills Claudius, and in the process, what happens is he gets killed too, and
Hmm.
all the characters die. Claudius dies, and Hamlet dies, and Gertrude
Hmm.
also dies.
Hmm. This is
That's why
all
it's
about
called
us.
a tragedy.
This is the story in nutshell. Coming to the character link, how they are connected. Polonius, the man Polonius, who is an ally to King Claudius and also thinks himself to be very important in the royal court, he is very happy because his daughter Ophelia has fallen in love with a man called Hamlet, who is a prince. So, what purpose is there? What purpose is there? Because he has a desire, he has an ambition that his daughter will be a queen
Will
one
become
day.
the next queen. Yeah.
Yes, one day
Mm.
she will become the queen. So, whatever hardship comes on our way of love, whatever disaster comes on the way of her love, see, he always consoles his daughter Ophelia to adjust, not to react, to be happy. And unfortunately, this girl Ophelia commits suicide and she dies. And because she was not happy with the behavior and profane madness, the famous term is profane madness, I'll come to that, that Hamlet shows to everybody. Understood? And Ophelia loses her mental strength and finally she dies. And there is a scene called Grave Digger scene, the famous comic relief scene in the play of Shakespeare. Those who will try to write critical answers, they may mention this comic scene of Hamlet, which is the Grave Digger scene. So the Grave Digger scene is the best comic item in this serious tragedy of Hamlet, where two grave diggers are talking. One is saying whether Ophelia has committed suicide or it is a murder. Then the other is explaining if she has drowned in water. So the other is explaining if the water comes to the person and drowns her, then it is a murder. But if the person goes to the water and dives into the water and drowns, then it is a then it is what?
Suicide. Suicide.
Then it is
It
a
is
suicide.
suicide.
So this scene, critics comment that this scene is the famous comic scene in the total play, the grave digger scene. Write down, you may get short note. The grave digger scene in Hamlet. Am I effective or not? Are you able to listen to me or not? I'm not well. Trying to.
Yes, ma'am. It's clear, ma'am. Loud and
Yes,
clear.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Explaining very well, madam. We are able to understand. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. What I was saying. Uh, please repeat
The
that
grave
line.
digger scene in Hamlet.
The grave digger scene in Hamlet.
The grave digger scene in Hamlet is the famous piece of comedy which Shakespeare sets, which Shakespeare sets to relax the height of tension. To relax the height of tension that persists in the mind of Hamlet. It is not only meant for the characters on stage, it is not only meant for the characters on the stage, it is also applicable. It is also applicable equally to the audience and the readers who feel a comic relief. Who feel a comic relief to see this gravedigger scene. And the difference between murder and suicide. The difference between murder and suicide is so well explained by the gravediggers that critics observe it as a gift of Shakespeare to the audience. Two ladies characters or two female characters, Gertrude and Ophelia, are projected as weak, gullible characters. Weak, gullible characters who are voiceless. They prefer to take things for granted.
Ma'am, could you please repeat? Two female
Yes, they prefer
characters.
Ophelia and Gertrude. They're projected as voiceless. They prefer to accept or they prefer to take everything for granted. Now stop writing. What do you mean by this? Who can tell me from his own mind as to why they have taken every situation for granted? Why?
Because women are considered as weak sex.
Weak sex? What? None of them react. The old lady Gertrude doesn't react. The young woman Ophelia doesn't react. Understood? They don't have anything to speak for themselves. That is why critics comment that Shakespeare has never felt the palpitating heart of the mother, the innocence of the child, and the place of a woman in a family. It is again a patriarchal view of Shakespeare that they are dominated by the male characters of the play. Understood? In every, if you take up the situation in literature, everywhere you will find many writers are anti-feminist. They don't like. Yes, it may be, but even today also we don't find any such freedom. To be free is not to be killed. Understood? So here, both of them, they project a very poor impression on the audience that they don't claim their own dignity. Forget about Ophelia. You think of Gertrude, who is an old woman. She has a adult son who is a scholar, but she doesn't protest the marriage. She doesn't protest the marriage, which is almost a heinous crime for Claudius. Understood? So this being the concept of Shakespeare, both the women, they suffer from what they should not have, because they could not resist, because they could not protest, because they could not speak out their heart. That was the problem which was designed by Shakespeare. Understood? Then coming to the theme of the play, when we discuss Hamlet, it is all about a play. What play is that?
Tragic play.
It is a tragic play, but there is another play inside the play. What is that?
That's also a murder play.
Murder of Gonzago. Understood?
Gonzago and his wife was
Yes.
their Baptista.
That is a mock play created by Shakespeare in order to fish the secret from the mind of Claudius when he witnesses the theatre or the drama being presented or staged. And in the middle of the drama, we have seen on stage that he is not feeling all right. He leaves the stage. This shows that he has admitted his guilt. He has confessed his guilt because he is unable to continue till the end of the play. And this murder of Gonzago is not only a play within the play, it is a technique of meta theatre. All of your PG level students try to analyze this concept of murder of Gonzago in a new way. What is meta theatre? Write down. Meta theatre
Ma'am, can you please repeat again?
Meta theatre, I'm not copying anything, so I forget. I go on saying, I don't remember the same sentence, but however, I will tell you in the same sense. What do you want to know?
Ma'am, it's all right. What you said is all right.
Okay. Murder of Gonzago, meta theatre, is a technique where some elements are employed by the dramatist, where some elements are employed by the dramatist for where some elements are employed by the dramatist for making the theme more comprehensive and accessible to the audience. And meta theatre is understood as beyond theatre. Is beyond theatre. Beyond theatre means it is not a simple drama. It is above the main drama. In order to know the mindset of Claudius, this drama is engaged by Hamlet to know whether Claudius is really guilty or not. Understood? So this is a technique. And this is a type of meta theatre to engage same scene, it is like trapping. Like you find brain mapping of the thieves, brain mapping of the criminals. What is it? A situation is created and they will react, and then from that also, while interrogating them, you can fish out the secret they had in their mind. So here the murder of Gonzago is like a technique which will catch the reaction of King Claudius to prove that yes, he is the murderer. Who had arranged this?
Hamlet.
Hamlet. But it is very sad for every audience to feel or to say that Hamlet was never prompt in his action. Being a young man, he is very slow, and he doesn't react to the death of his father, though he knows from the ghost, from his friend Laertes, and from his own sensibility, he can guess what is happening inside the court, but he doesn't react so fast. He plans, and everything exhausts, and he dies. Though on whom he wants to take revenge, they are killed, but it becomes very slow. And that is why the main flaw of Hamlet, write down, the main flaw of Hamlet is procrastination or delay. Procrastination, procrastination or delay. The intense gravity of tragedy is understood then when the audience become aware about the incidents taking place on stage or events taking place on stage and become a part of it. Aristotle defines tragedy this you have in your book, still you write down it, tragedy as the imitation of action that is serious, and also if you write any general question on drama, especially this Hamlet, for any answer you define this tragedy of Aristotle or definition of Aristotle on tragedy, you quote it, definitely the examiner will be impressed. Okay, the imitation of action that is serious and also as having magnitude, complete in itself, semicolon. In language with pleasurable accessories, each kind brought in separately in the parts of the work.
Ma'am, can you repeat, please?
Yes, where are you? Please tell me.
After complete in itself.
Complete in itself, semicolon. In language with pleasurable accessories, comma, each kind, you wrote it for giving definition. Each kind brought in separately in the parts of the work, semicolon. In the parts of the work, semicolon. In a dramatic, comma. In a dramatic, comma, not in a narrative form. Not in a narrative form, semicolon, with incidents arousing pity and fear, comma. With incidents arousing pity and fear, comma.
Ma'am, please repeat it, ma'am.
Where are you, dear?
Not in a narrative form.
Semicolon, with incidents arousing pity and fear, comma, wherewith to accomplish its catharsis of such emotion, commands.
To accomplish its
catharsis of such emotions. Such emotions means of pity and fear. Such emotions. I'll explain it. Don't worry. So the plot that persists in the play must have a single protagonist who has a focused purpose to attain, at the end of the play.
Ma'am, can you repeat before must have a single protagonist?
Who has a focused purpose to attain.
No, ma'am, before this line.
Tell me, what have you read?
After such emotions, the next line.
No, it is not the next line, it is another.
Okay.
Understood?
Okay.
Yes, it is not the same. And how the Shakespearean hero should be till the end. Till the end, he should struggle and he should achieve. But Hamlet fails. You know why Hamlet fails? Because he dies. Every audience wants that the hero should live till the end of the story because he has suffered a lot, so that the audience will find pleasure at the end of the play, though the hero suffers. But Hamlet dies. But he has his focused aim or focused purpose of what? Of revenge. What revenge? On whom?
Claudius.
On Claudius. He does it, but he himself dies. He does it, but he himself dies. So, the various angles, now listen to me, on which critics comment and criticize the play of Hamlet, you cannot imagine how many factors are there which are widely discussed by the critics. This is like using the theme of drama is the theatre is a tragedy or theatre is the theme. Then here Hamlet as a tragedy. You know, Aristotle's tragedy, if you quote, then you will try to justify the character of Hamlet in the standpoint of Aristotelian definition. Understood? And there also you find that he is a befitting character as per the comment of Aristotle. He is good, he is fitting. So another character that overpowers Hamlet is who? Who is overpowering Hamlet? Or who is trying to convince Hamlet about the good and bad? No. Claudius fails. Claudius is... No. Who is a good company, a good friend?
Horatio.
Laertes. Laertes is a friend of Hamlet. And he guides him throughout the play. Invisibly, directly or indirectly. Sometimes he shares his feelings with Laertes, but all the while he is in a he is in a heavy heart. Who? Hamlet. Hamlet is unable to speak about his own feelings to anyone. Now he thinks that I should not trust anyone, not even to Ophelia. Forget about his mother. His mother to never, but he even doesn't like Ophelia, who is going to be his wife. So far as the dream of Polonius is concerned, Polonius thinks my daughter will marry Prince Hamlet and become what? Become the Queen of Denmark. But Hamlet doesn't allow it to happen. Hamlet finishes Ophelia only by mental torture. Understood? And then when Ophelia dies, he becomes more harsh, more rough, more rude. And one by one, he goes to achieve his target. When we go to the textual quality of Hamlet, we will find a lot of things. In Shakespeare's Hamlet, we have poetry, we have soliloquy, we have the play within the play, separate design of the play, and also we have the use of ghosts or supernaturals, which is very common in Elizabethan drama. So these things also happen. Revenge within the revenge. Here somebody has written this. Uh, Hamlet is open to all, but he doesn't speak out everything. He only tells such sentences which are very, which are what? Which are very pun. It is punny. That means it has a double purpose. He is never clear. He doesn't talk simple sentences. Understood? So, the textual analysis of the play will always reveal the fact that it has been so mechanized or it has been designed in such a way that it is different from many other plays of Shakespeare. Shakespeare bestows upon his character to suggest what and how should he pass the play. The character is leading the actions in comparison to the dramatist. Understood? There is a character called Laertes is Ophelia's brother, right? Horatio is Hamlet's loyal friend, according to my book, whatever written. Horatio also sees the ghost. Understood? Horatio also sees the ghost. And the ghost, not only after repeated appearance, Hamlet comes to know about the ghost. Then, Osric. Coming to the important characters. Claudius. Then Osric. Claudius, who can tell me a short note on Claudius?
He's a snake-like character, and he murders his own brother and marries a brother's wife, Gertrude.
Then,
And once, like he is like threatened by Hamlet because he thinks Hamlet will like kill him. So he like packs off Hamlet to England. But Hamlet is smart enough and he returns back to Denmark.
yes. Claudius is basically a notorious character. Yes, he is a calculating politician. Very good. Claudius is not a simple person. He is not a simple brother. He is not a simple husband. He is a very calculative man. He applies his tricks and traps to control Gertrude and also to convince Hamlet that the loss of a father is not a new thing. What he says? My father had lost my father, his father had lost his father, and his father had lost his father. So people lose fathers, nothing new in losing a father. Because Hamlet cries a lot, maintains his madness for a longer time, and gets shocked and cries over the event where he was not there and is not able to do anything for the sake of his father, then Claudius tells him that it is not a new thing to lose father. Look at the simple event he narrates. Losing father is not an ordinary thing, and losing father by murder is not another ordinary thing. And losing father by being murdered by his own brother is a extremely heinous crime, which is Hamlet is not able to digest and adjust. So Claudius always tells Hamlet that it is not a new thing to lose father. And what Hamlet describes Claudius? You are a villain. Those who want to write, you can write down. Hamlet comments on Claudius as a villain, a smiling villain, and he is accused of incest. A villain, a smiling villain, he is accused of incest, horrid marriage, murder, and being a usurper of the throne of Denmark. being a usurper of the throne of Denmark. That means he has snatched the kingship. It is not a regular. It is not a regular or a gradual attainment of kingship. He has snatched it by killing the king. Understood? So he is an usurper of the throne of Denmark. He is and sometimes if you have read the story properly, you will see that he has been described as a bastard by Hamlet. And is by telling his uncle a bastard, Hamlet doesn't commit any crime, because Shakespeare tells that, but Shakespeare says that in that society there was a barrier of caste. That means there were different classes, and bastard was always referred to, or people belonging to a very low level of life in a class-ridden society. Being a bastard meant belonged, and which is a very of the meaning of bastard, the origin of this word. So he himself calls his uncle bastard. There it is height of anger, and he draws the attention of Claudius on reprocessing appearance Hyperion to a satyr. Hamlet asks his mother, "Could you on these fair mountains leave to feed and batten on this moor?" Or Shakespeare, sometimes those one who was saying that he was not happy with his mother, but he was not telling anything. No, he had told something. He had scolded his mother, but not in very abusive words, but very politely. Sometimes he advised him to go to the jungle and stay alone. And then sometimes he says that you are abusing your beauty. And Hamlet considers Claudius to lack courage. Though he is a murderer, but he doesn't have the courage. How strange! Who can explain this? Though he is a murderer, but he lacks courage. What is it? Why?
Claudius repents for what he is doing, but he is not what he has done. That is, he's killed his brother, but he is not ready to give away the gains that he had done from the heinous act. That is, he has got the kingdom, but he is not ready to give away the kingdom. He is not ready to give away the Gertrude. He is not ready to give away the gains of that he had got from the kingdom.
Anybody else? One who can murder should be brave. But what is it? He can murder, but he is weak. What is it? How do you prove it?
He's a thinker, he's a philosopher, but he's not a doer. He's passive. He does not
He's a
act.
philosopher. Claudius is a philosopher.
No, not Claudius, Hamlet.
Yes, Hamlet is a philosopher, no doubt. But why Claudius is weak? Why Claudius has proved his weakness? Why? Where? Who can tell me? Please come to the point.
He wasn't brave to face the reality, the truth. He was not honest.
He was not able to face the reality or truth.
Because
Is there any chance of confessing? Is there any chance of confessing that yes, I have done a mistake? Is there any such chance?
no, not really.
Have you ever felt that in the whole drama, Claudius is not feeling well for doing such sins? Have you ever felt it? That is repenting.
Yes, during the play.
During the play, within the play.
Yes, because he feels uncomfortable and he leaves.
He feels uncomfortable, he leaves because he thinks that he is caught. He's caught.
Ma'am, when he was confessing in the church
In the
that
church.
he has done some crime, yes.
Then
That time he was heard by this one that he has murdered his father,
yes.
Claudius.
Then
Yes.
he has murdered the father of Hamlet.
Yes.
This happens, the audience don't see the murder of Hamlet. We get the referral information on the stage as soon as the curtain raises or the play begins. Isn't it?
Yes.
Have we seen this?
No, we have
No.
not seen. But
We have not seen.
when he was confessing, Claudius was confessing in front of God.
In front of God. That is when?
It is before the last scene.
When there is no chance of life. He knows that he will be killed.
Yes, yes.
Then only he feels that yes, what I have done is wrong.
Wrong.
When the play opens, we find Claudius is already a criminal. Claudius is already a murderer. Claudius has done what he should have never done. Isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes,
So
yes.
that thing, he never felt guilty of his misdoings, of his sins, of his crimes. But when he knows that there is no other way out, he says that I'm sorry, or he feels bad and goes to God and begs excuse for doing all these sins. So
Yes.
Claudius is a very heinous villain in from among the total villains of Macbeth. I mean Shakespeare. Understood? So
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
intentionally, Claudius is trying to ignore and avoid in the scene of murder of Gonzago. What happens? What happens?
He walks away from the stage
Why?
because
It is
he's
kind
feeling
of this
guilty.
realization that something was done wrong by him also. He connects to that thing.
The actually, what I mean to say is that he doesn't project his conscience. He has no repentance. He is not a Christian. He doesn't want to show this crime to his nephew, who is Hamlet. Rather, he convinces him that there is no wrong in your father dying. It is a normal event of chronology, isn't it? Doesn't he say that? Fathers lose fathers. My father had lost his father had lost his father. There is a line like this. Those who have read the play text, they would know. And my dear students, I would like to sincerely advise you, this is a class for interaction and discussion. Please read the text. Shakespeare or any other writer, please read the text. You are all PG students. Your knowledge in text would be more critical than any book. Understood? Please read. So, in one place of the play, Claudius tries to explain Hamlet that don't make such a face, don't carry the hangover of the loss of your father. And I'm not exactly quoting it, I'm explaining those lines because it is not a great event. Everybody is born and died, and birth has death one day, and your father is dead. It's not a new event in history or mankind. Fathers lose fathers. My father had lost his father had lost his father had lost his father. So he particularly means to say that there is no guilt in dying. Fathers die. Look at this man who has killed his father, explaining him that it's a normal course of event. Understood? That is the most critical part of his mindset. He is very bold. He is very he is a very licentious criminal. Understood? Claudius' character is different from anybody. And you know, Polonius is a witness for all opportunities, not disasters. If you take up the character of Polonius, you will find that what he has in mind. What he has in mind.
He's a selfish person. He is like listens to whatever Claudius says on the surface, but inside he is very dishonest. He is he wants to move forward in his career.
Yes.
So
He has only one purpose. What is that?
he's a dishonest person. Like to advance his own career.
What
To
else?
gain the favor of the king.
What else? He, if you remember, I also don't exactly remember the lines, but I remember the matter that sometimes he tells his own daughter to be close to Hamlet. Understood?
Yes, first he
Right.
says like that.
Just to trap him. And once he's trapped, work is done. You will marry him and you will become the queen. So he has his personal ambition of being related to the royal family. And he also earnestly wants that his daughter should become a queen. But do you find there are any Christian element in Hamlet?
Claudius is not able to repent.
Yes. Not able to
Because
repent or not interested.
according to Christianity, we can repent for the sins, but Claudius is not able to do that also because he's not mentally that strong.
He's not interested to repent. He says it's okay. Done. Because he has a wife who is another weak point of Hamlet. Understood? Hamlet is not able to take Gertrude from Claudius. Even if he takes her away from Claudius, what shall he do with his mother? What punishment he will give to his mother? He cries. And that is the most pathetic idea that he has in mind, that he has to punish his mother, but his mother is responseless, no reaction. This is the style in which Shakespeare created the women characters, especially in tragedies. And romantic heroines, they are all carefree. They can do and undo anything they like. But if you take up the comparison of Cleopatra, you will find Cleopatra is a brave lady. Cleopatra is a brave lady. She is an Egyptian queen and she is like a male partner. She can fight on the front and she can be very loving to Antony. So Cleopatra was one piece of Shakespeare. Now write down. The critics comment that Hamlet is a religious play. You may get short questions like this, but no long question. You cannot write a long question as Hamlet is a religious play, but you can get short questions. Understood? The Christian element in the play of Hamlet doesn't deal with the question of sin, 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 damnation and salvation. Sin, damnation and salvation. During Elizabethan era, can I take a glass of water?
Please, ma'am, have it.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a
Yes,
minute.
ma'am.
I'm taking a break for 5 minutes only.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, let us resume. Are you all there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I didn't disturb you a lot. I think only few minutes I left. Okay. What I said, in Elizabethan era, there was a belief of afterlife. There was a belief of afterlife or life after death. And there was a complete obsession in the minds of people. There was a complete obsession in the minds of people regarding heaven, hell, and purgatory. Today also in this modern world, don't write. Just listen to me. Today also in the modern world, if you do any crime, if you do any sin, we really feel guilty in our heart that we should not have done this or done that. But during the Elizabethan time, there was a rigid conviction that there is something called hell, something called heaven, and something called purgatory. So anybody who commits a crime, when he realizes that it is crime, he really feels bad, feels sorry, wants to change, wants to repent. Have you that book of Dan Brown? What is that about Leonardo da Vinci's? Forgot the name. Yes? Da Vinci Code, yes, thank you. Have you read that fellow Silas? Do you have any idea regarding that? In that book, one character is whipping himself. And
Yeah, he goes and murders some people, and then he comes back and sits in front of the god, and he gives punishment to himself.
Himself. What is it? Tell me, what is it? What is it?
Ma'am, way of repenting and saying that I did wrong and just forgive me.
This is the way of self torture to please God. Self torture to please God, that I have done some crime and I should be punished. And God never gives directly the punishment. It is not like giving money or things. So how he would tell God, how he would impress upon God that he is being punished, he punishes himself. So this was the conviction. Could you get my point, what I'm trying to say?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. This was the conviction during Elizabethan era, that if you commit crime, if you commit sins, you need to be punished and you will go to hell. You cannot see heaven. Nobody has seen heaven. It is still imaginary today. Has anybody seen heaven? One who goes to heaven never comes back. Does anybody come back? Does anybody come back from heaven? Does anybody come back from heaven?
No, ma'am.
It is permanent place. If you go there, your soul will remain happily. If you go to hell, your soul will be tortured. But there is no such place called heaven or hell. It is a belief that every Christian has. But here, in this drama, Claudius has no reaction against his sins. He has killed his own brother. He has married his wife, who is a widow, and he has caused incest inside the premises of the royal family. But he is not unhappy. He is not repenting. He is not sorry, and he doesn't cry over his misdoings. No. So the concept of Christianity is very poor in the character of Claudius and overall in the play of Hamlet. But still, we believe it exists because there is appearance of ghost. The ghost comes and goes. Has even anybody seen a ghost? People believe that spirits are there, ghosts are there. But here the ghost is a character. Here the ghost is a living being. It is a separate character who warns and informs about whatever has happened and what is going to happen. Understood? So, in order to make, write down, in order to make people believe that your doings are known to God, that your doings are known to God, continuously in almost all the tragedies, and especially in Hamlet, Shakespeare introduces supernaturals and ghosts.
Especially in Hamlet.
Shakespeare introduces supernaturals or ghosts. Understood? And that is why the Christian elements, especially the realization of the person or the sinner, the realization of the sinner is not well maintained or mentioned in the character of Claudius. Another point where critics say that it is Christian play, it is a Christian play or has some Christian element, is that why students are leaving, class is not good.
Very good class, madam.
Why students are leaving, number is reducing, they don't need it. Anyway,
No, ma'am, we need it. It's so helpful, ma'am.
What did you write? Another Christian point that critics find out is that Ophelia, I told you the grave digger sin and that she committed suicide. How she committed suicide? She drowned in the water. And the grave digger says, if it is a murder, if the water comes to her and drowns her, can the water go? Can the water go and drown Ophelia?
No, ma'am.
No. But Ophelia goes to the water and drowns. So Ophelia commits suicide. And in Christian belief, one who commits suicide is a sinner because she killed herself. Write down. And Ophelia was denied a Christian burial. And Ophelia was denied a Christian burial, B-U-R-I-A-L, burial, as she had committed suicide. Because he committed suicide. Another, number 3. What I am discussing, are you getting? I am discussing the Christian element in Hamlet. This is the second part is gone. Third point is, at another point, yes, Hamlet doesn't kill Claudius when he was praying. Yes, somebody told this yesterday. He was right. Actually, I was forgetting the name. Thank you for reminding me the right.
It's okay, madam. Thank you.
Okay. Another Christian element is that when Claudius was praying, Hamlet doesn't kill him. Why?
Because
he thinks,
praying is a
yes,
good.
yes, come on, yes.
Praying is a good deed. You are connected to God.
Yes. And if you are killed, then he will attain salvation. Understood? And that he doesn't want to give to Claudius. Who?
Hamlet doesn't
Hamlet.
want to.
Hamlet doesn't like to give Claudius a religious death because he wants to torture him, his soul, his concept of hell. Because if he is praying and if he will go and kill him, then there is no way for there was no punishment. Rather, this is salvation. He will go to heaven because he is praying God, and God will excuse him. So, in that way, Hamlet had no interest in killing Claudius while praying. So, in this way, Hamlet is a Christian play. These are the three important points. Then we come to language and literature and imagery. And this, I think, about speaking of imagery, language, literature, rhetoric, diction, or whatever words he has used, Shakespeare is no less than a very good poet. You know, language of Shakespeare is far better than any poet in the history of English literature. First, he is a poet, then he is a dramatist. He had written 157 sonnets, and all sonnets are wonderful. And his famous poem is All the World is a Stage, where he compares this world with a stage, and all the living beings are actors and actresses. So, all this, the credit goes to Shakespeare. And for words, poetry, and rhetoric, I will take another 2 hours class or so for explaining them. But however, I have touched this. Another facet or the dimension, another dimension of Shakespeare's Hamlet is his soliloquies. What is soliloquy?
Speaking to oneself, but the audience will hear it, but the character is speaking to himself.
Speaking to one's own self. Yes, dramatic monologue, very good. Speaking to one's own self, audience would know it, but no other character would be present on the stage, and that is called soliloquy. What is dialogue?
When it is
Two
happening,
people conversing.
interaction between two people.
Conversation between two characters.
Yes.
Two or more characters is dialogue. And this is dramatic monologue. Monologue means speaking to one's own self. Most of the actions, write down, most of the actions of Hamlet within single inverted comma most of the actions of Hamlet within single inverted comma are intimated to the audience prior to they really happen. Prior to they really happen is hinted and announced, both hinted and announced by the famous soliloquies of Hamlet. By the famous soliloquies of Hamlet. And Hamlet uses his soliloquies most often What did you write? Please repeat the sentence.
Hamlet uses
Hamlet
most
uses
of
his
them.
soliloquies most often
Because it covers the future actions. Prior to they really happen, not the. Prior to they really happen by its soliloquies. Because it covers the ensuing actions or the forthcoming actions. in Act 1, Scene 2. In Act 1, Scene 2, the first soliloquy takes place or appears after the meeting with the ghost. After the meeting with the ghost. And then a series of soliloquies take place. Did you write? Yes, please repeat.
A series of soliloquies takes place.
Soon after he meets the ghost or after meeting the ghost. And all the purpose behind using soliloquies created by Shakespeare to make the audience stay connected. To make the audience stay connected with the plot. To make the audience stay connected with the plot. With the plot or the events that is going to happen or the main action of the play. Main action of the play. Whether the ghost is speaking the truth or not, don't write. Whether the ghost is speaking the truth or not, that the audience don't know. Not even Hamlet himself. He also doesn't know whether the ghost is saying the truth or not. But when he expresses his heart, speaks out his heart on stage, audience really discover the character of Hamlet than from his dialogues with other characters. Understood? When he is talking with other characters, he does speak very few sentences. But he speaks long soliloquies, long soliloquies when he is alone. And by that, the audience know more about this character to the soliloquies than the action and dialogue. Got my point? What I'm trying to say? Got it? Yes or no? All
Yes, ma'am.
hands up, thumbs up.
Yes, ma'am.
That means soliloquies of Hamlet are more effective than the dialogues because he speaks very less. With Ophelia, he doesn't speak at all. He only gives expression. He sometimes speaks and always gives her punches. And when he speaks to his mother, he also gives her punches. But whenever he is alone, he speaks out his heart. Understood? And that influences the impression of the audience more. I told you from in the last class that when audience become a part of the drama, that is the success of the dramatist. Understood? Audience become the part of the drama. Whatever we feel, suppose the heroine is suffering, we cry. If you don't mind, I will tell you a small story by taking 3 minutes from you. Once I had been to a Hindi movie. Are you all ready?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Please go
Yes,
ahead.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
We
Once I had
want
been-
your examples.
Once I had been to see a Hindi movie, and the heroine is suffering from blood cancer, and gradually the makeup is so done. I'm talking about movie, not reality. Okay, the makeup is so done. Day by day, she is becoming thinner and thinner. Face is becoming darker and darker. And some ladies who are not very much educated, they were sitting in my next row, in front of me. And when the doctor visits the heroine, and in the movie, please keep it in mind, this is in the movie. Okay, When the doctor visits the heroine and always says that, no, I don't think there is any chance. I am helpless. I can't help you. Leave all this. I saw everybody cried in the next row, and unintentionally tears rolled down over my cheeks. I do admit, unintentionally, tears also rolled down over my cheeks. What is it? I am educated enough, but I also cried. What is it?
Catharsis.
No.
Involvement.
This is
Emotional connection.
where the audience becomes the part of the play. This is where the audience is deeply connected. And to everybody's wonder, the heroine survives blood cancer and she doesn't die. In the last scene, when suddenly doctor gives a test and it is found that she is improving and she will survive. And I can't describe the reaction of those ladies. Oh my God has helped her. Oh my God, such a wonderful lady. If she would have died, what would happen? As if the real lady is dying. This is the success of the dramatist who writes the drama for the audience. And that is why drama is the most effective, successful genre to influence life. When I will come to Waiting for Godot, you will realize that everybody of us is a modern man and the hero of the drama. Everybody. I will come to that in my last session, I think. So what I mean to say is that the soliloquies, write down. Did you find it interesting or not?
Yes,
Very
ma'am.
interesting, madam.
Yes,
Very
ma'am. Very
interesting.
interesting.
The soliloquies are, especially in the play of Hamlet, play of Hamlet are used as a dramatic asset. Used as a dramatic asset for connecting the play with the audience. For connecting the play with the audience. The audience know more about the play or the hero the audience know more about the hero through the soliloquies than the actions on stage. The psychological strata of the hero called Hamlet still remains an enigma. Still remains an enigma till the fag end of the play. But audience become happy and they are exhilarated. There is a word called exhilarated. Very happy. Oh yes, Claudius is killed. Hamlet is dead. They are sorry, but they are sorry later. First they are happy because Claudius is killed. Isn't it? Yes or no? The villain is punished. But unfortunately, good is not rewarded in this play. Understood? Yes, where was I? Please repeat the sentence.
Happy and exhilarated.
Yes, they are exhilarated when they find that proper revenge is taken over the villain. Proper revenge is taken over the villain. And the anticipated ending takes place. and the anticipated ending takes place in the true sense of the term. In the true sense of the term. But however, the death of Hamlet became another tragedy, though revenge was taken on Claudius. Though revenge was taken on Claudius. Now don't write, I'll speak a few words about Hamlet's character, then I'll come to questions. Hamlet's character. You know, in the whole play, he is introduced to us as a scholar, as a prince, as a person who suffers throughout the play. There is no change in his attitude. He is melancholic, yes. He is pathetic. And throughout the play, we have never seen him laughing. A normal death is definitely different from a murder, isn't it? The fire of revenge is burning, and he cannot sleep, cannot stand, cannot love, cannot rule. So he is nowhere. His mental condition is absolutely chaotic, and he wants no way out. Understood? Under such circumstances, he becomes frustrated with his beloved, with his mother, and he had no other own person. Claudius is never his own. He had his mother and he had the girl Ophelia. But to know his mother's remarriage, he is disgusted with her presence. And to know the father of Ophelia's involvement with the murder, he is again never takes Ophelia to trust, rather betrays her. So in such a critical turmoil, where no trust is there on relationship, Hamlet loses all tracks of life. So the ending of Hamlet, where Hamlet dies, is not so, people don't sob so much. People don't shed so much of tear because Hamlet dies, because he has already been desolate. He had nobody to live with. Understood? It is like sometimes accepting the misfortune, though there was no way out. So the tragic end of Hamlet is also the tragic end of Hamlet, the hero. Understood? Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now come to questions. 1. There are 2 types of questions. If you get the questions case the character of Hamlet, you give little bit of storyline, murder of Gonzago, relationship with Ophelia, and Hamlet himself, relationship with mother, and how he reacts to all these situations. If the question is justify the title of Hamlet, the same answer. Same answer. All related to Hamlet. Understood? Write down. Question number 1. I am tired. Question number 1. Sketch the character of Hamlet. 2. Or. Portray the character of Hamlet as a tragic hero. Portray the character of Hamlet as a tragic hero. These are long questions. Okay, justify the title of the play Hamlet. Same answer for these 3. Then you come to question number 2. Justify the justify the character of Claudius. Justify the character of Claudius. Character of Polonius. Character of Ophelia. Then next question. Justify the statement that the female characters of the play Hamlet are weak. Give a comparison between Ophelia and Gertrude as women characters or female characters.
Ma'am, will you please repeat?
Comparison between, very easy, comparison
ma'am.
between
Yes,
Ophelia
ma'am.
and Gertrude as female characters. Then you can get short notes. Short notes is first flaw of Hamlet. What is the flaw?
Procrastination.
Procrastination, delay, inordinate delay. Flaw of Hamlet, A. B is soliloquy in Hamlet. Hamlet as a yes, soliloquy in Hamlet. Procrastination. That means flaw in Hamlet or flaw of Hamlet, whatever. Then soliloquy in Hamlet. Next, C. Hamlet as a religious play. Hamlet as a religious play. What is a revenge tragedy? Justify Hamlet as one. Write a short note on Murder of Gonzago, the play within the play.
Ma'am, what is the revenge tragedy?
Then write a short note on Murder of Gonzago. Murder of Gonzago, the play within the play. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
What did you write the last question?
Write a short note on Murder of Gonzago, a play within the play.
Murder of Gonzago, the
A
play.
play within the play.
Yes. Then you take a short note on the heroes of the yes, another character of Horatio. Horatio is a short note. He's not very important. Horatio is there, a friend of Hamlet, but he is not. He doesn't cover many part of the play. So short note for Horatio. Horatio. Then you take down few lines that Shakespeare's Hamlet, Macbeth, King Lear, and Othello are are the famous classic tragedies of Shakespeare. Somebody's microphone is on. I'm getting disturbed. Sound is coming. Yes. And the four classic tragedies of Shakespeare. But a comparison of all these tragedies would reveal that a comparison of these four tragedies would reveal that Shakespeare had keen interest on the royal court and the happenings that usually take place that usually
Ma'am,
take
could you please repeat?
Shakespeare had keen interest in the royal court and the happenings that usually take place within the four walls of the castle. The major events which makes the tragedies throb more are murder, appearance of supernaturals, use of meta-theatrical mode, or technique, setting of long soliloquies, and chronicle of events well arranged. Full stop. Regicide, patricide,
Ma'am, could you please repeat?
regicide, patricide, and other heinous sins are committed by the characters, especially main characters, sometimes change the anticipated end of the drama. Sometimes change the anticipated end of the drama. Shakespeare was a great psychologist or psychoanalyst. Shakespeare was a great psychoanalyst who had deep insight into the spectrum attitude of human minds. The spectrum attitude of human minds. Attitude of human minds. So undoubtedly, above the level of all arguments, Shakespeare was the greatest dramatist of English literature. Whose books have timeless universal appeal. Whose books have timeless universal appeal. I think I'm done. Timeless universal appeal. So
Ma'am,
how was the first?
just the last line, ma'am.
Timeless universal appeal.
No, before timeless.
Can anybody repeat?
Yeah, his books have timeless universal appeal. Shakespeare is
thank
the
you.
greatest dramatist. Okay.
Yes. English dramatist whose books have timeless universal appeal. Got it?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
How was the class? Did you like it?
Yes, ma'am.
Very nice, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Wonderful class, ma'am.
Oh, thank you.
Ma'am, can we, with your permission, ma'am, can we compare this Hamlet story as a revenge? Like our Hindi movie Bazigar, ma'am? Just like that, I'm asking you.
No, one thing you always remember, every
Yeah,
movie
ma'am.
is a picturization of a drama.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
Hindi movies, they always extract themes from English theatre.
Is it, ma'am? Really?
Yes, they don't create anything new. And
They're
most
just
of those
copiers.
original movies, they also, yes, somebody is saying Haider. Yes, that is
Oh.
Hamlet. Hamlet is copied in Haider.
Either, okay. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, that we might have seen in the hall. Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
maximum excellent things of British theatre are extracted by reading and rereading and used in this regional pictures or say our Hindi movies and all that. Because
Yes, ma'am.
they were the genius. Roman Empire was the source of all theories. And after Roman Empire, these sort of tragedies could be created and they are timeless. They are worldwide used and witnessed. Every literature copies them.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So nice.
See
Thank you
you.
so much, ma'am.
Thank you. I think the class I dropped yesterday due to high fever.
Thank you, ma'am. What's your
Welcome
temperature
back.
now, madam? What's your temperature, ma'am, now for you?
I don't
Have
know.
you
I
gone?
have taken one paracetamol and I'm sitting here.
Madam, please take care of yourself.
Okay, I'm trying to.
Yeah, ma'am.
Excuse me, ma'am. Sorry once again to interrupt you. Ma'am, this is Aisha from Bangalore. I am a teacher by profession.
Okay.
It was really inconvenient because I was not able to come for the 3 o'clock classes. So, if you could put in a word for people like me, this
Okay.
timing is better for us.
Oh no, I have already told the director sir that as it is, I am a professor in an English one college. I am also teaching my PG students and I am guiding many PhD scholars. So this time is only meant for me and it is best for me. So no problem in attending my class.
Yeah. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
all for your wishes for my recovery. Thank you
May you
all.
get a
Madam,
good
hope you will come better tomorrow, ma'am. Much
Yes,
better
ma'am.
tomorrow.
We pray to God.
Tomorrow we don't have a class, I think.
Yeah, tomorrow
Uh,
we don't have.
Maybe I think next class, ma'am. I
Yes,
think.
next class is thank you for that. But I'm telling you that
Yeah, ma'am.
your coordinator sir will let you know when is your next class. Okay.
Sure, ma'am. Okay.
Ma'am, we
Thank you,
will
ma'am.
have class
Message from
on
someone.
in
Thank you,
Sundays
ma'am.
from 10 to
Ma'am, please
12.
take care. Good night, ma'am.
A message has
Ma'am,
come.
everybody who has attended this class,
Stay
everybody
safe.
involved, madam. Everybody involved.
Oh, thank you. That is my success.
Madam, you told that in that movie, the viewers are connected. No, we are also connected here, madam, with you now today.
Yes,
Thank you.
ma'am.
No,
Yes,
it's not
ma'am.
me. It is the play of Shakespeare.
Okay,
It's not
that's your
me.
goodness, madam. That's your
Okay.
goodness, madam.
Thank you.
Excuse me, ma'am. Do we have class on Sunday, ma'am?
Yes, your coordinators have told me because I was very sick yesterday. I couldn't talk. So the
Yes,
class
ma'am.
was dropped. And he told me that this may be engaged on Sunday. He will let everybody know. Even to me, he will confirm the time. Okay.
Mm. But if it is
The
too
message
difficult,
had
madam,
come.
please take
The
rest.
message had come
I
which
request
stated
you.
Okay, okay. Thank you
If
so
it is
much.
the message
difficult,
Thank you
had
please
so
come.
take
much
rest,
for
madam.
your
We can
concern.
extend. Yes,
Thank you
ma'am.
so
Very
much for
important
your
is health,
concern.
ma'am. Very important
Okay,
is health, ma'am.
okay. Thank you.
Please take
Madam,
care of yourself.
Okay,
madam,
Yes, ma'am.
yes.
madam, a message had come that on Sunday from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. your class will be there.
Okay, then we will be ready by that.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Good day, ma'am. Please take care.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you
ma'am.
so
Take
much.
care.
Thank
Good
you
night.
so much.
Good night,
Good
ma'am.
night,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
take
Take
Good
care.
care.
night, good night, good night.
Thank you, ma'am.
Good night, ma'am.
Get well soon,
Good night,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, bye bye.
Bye bye.
Some small child is telling bye. Nice. So nice of it.